Good morning and welcome to the garden. We've got a beautiful day here. The weather is just getting nicer and nicer and nicer. I am going to go ahead and open up the greenhouse now because we've got I think it's going to be like maybe 55 degrees Fahrenheit today, but the sun is out. Got pretty cloudless sky today, so I want to make sure that this doesn't overheat. So we're going to open this up, and I actually think I'm going to plant out my first hanging basket with some of the starts that I started from seed indoors. I think we're warm enough now. We're kind of, we're still in that early spring phase. So I'm not really planting out like my peppers, my eggplants, anything like that. But we are staying well into the 40 degrees Fahrenheit at night. We are not dipping really into the 30s anymore. According to the forecast, I will keep an eye on things. So I think we can plan some stuff. So I thought we would go into the unheated greenhouse and shop it a little bit and come up with a hanging basket. This is always so fun to be able to shop my own little plants. All right, here we go. Let's get this open. It did get down to about, I think like 35 last night, but yeah, see, it's almost 100 in here. So absolutely no worries there. So I have this morning glory. It's looking a little bit, the peas have attached themselves to it. Sorry, little pea shoots. It's looking just a little bit sad, so I think it'll be good to get it out of this tiny little pot and into something bigger. And I think it'll be fun in a hanging basket because it'll kind of climb up the basket, hopefully. Sorry, got my daughter's toys out here and everything. So I'm gonna do this blue little morning glory. And the morning glory is blue, so I thought these really cute little beacon impatiens would be fun next to the morning glory, and they look like they're about the right size that I can plant them out. And then I also grabbed one of these little coleus plants. These are some of the, I think it's like a sunset coleus that I started from seed. They're super cute. Not totally outgrowing these containers yet, but I think it'll be nice to have a little bit of this color. And I'm going to put these coleus in different places in the garden. So this will kind of connect the hanging basket to the rest of the garden. At least that is my plan. Hopefully that will be a good link. Maybe I'll do two of the coleus, two of the impatiens, and the morning glory in the middle. So let me go get one more coleus. Yes, it is a lot of plants, but I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I find that the more you pack out containers, the better they end up growing and looking. Probably some of that has to do with the fact that my garden is not perfect conditions. So I tend to have like a little bit less sun, and I don't know. I mean, I do try to fertilize all my plants on a really regular schedule, but I'm not perfect. I'm certainly not like a grower. And I sort of know what I'm doing, but it's a little bit more, I have found anyways, in my experience, it's a little bit more like fail safe if you just start with a lot of plants, which, for better or worse, but that has worked much better for me in the past. So I'm gonna I have one of these hanging baskets here that doesn't have anything in it. So we've got the one with all of the violas, which we'll keep that. I just need to unhook it because it is hooked to this one, which is actually empty. So I just need to put a little bit more fresh soil in here, and I will probably add a little bit of fertilizer and then plant all of my plants into here, but I'm just gonna take it down because it'd be too hard to plant it while it's hanging. Okay, so here we have the container, and I'm going to add a little bit of this is just this organic slow release fertilizer, and that will just give the plants, something to kind of support them as the season goes on. And I will start them on like a probably weekly, every 2-week fertilizing program with a water soluble fertilizer. But this, I tried to get out a lot of the old soil and put some new soil in here, but there's a little bit of the old soil from the plants from last season. Just a little bit. Okay. Now I do have this cute little like bamboo trellis. So I actually may stick that. We'll see how that fits. I don't think I need that. Take that out. We're gonna put the morning glory in the center, and then just surround it with impatient on either side and a coleus on either side. These are kind of part shade plants because this is a bit of a part shade area. It gets a lot of afternoon sun, but it'll get a decent amount of part shade. Now, if it starts to be too much sun for it, I can also move it to a different hook. I do have certainly lots of shady areas in my garden, so there's lots of spaces. If we find that, you know, it's too much sun, we need more shade, we can adjust. I know, but hopefully it'll be just fine. So I'm just gonna plant those plants into the soil, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here's the hanging basket. I got to train these little stems up the sides of it, but I think well, right now it doesn't look like much, but it will be pretty. So we got it hanging, and now we'll just try to get this started. These guys will wrap around it within, you know, by the time this afternoon, I'm sure they'll be already climbing up it, but there we go. There's a good start. Fun. And I'm just going to water it in now to make sure that it's doing okay, although those plants were pretty wet. I really need to look at the water levels of my seedlings. I will be honest, I am not loving the look of some of these seedlings in here. Not all of them are looking super happy, and I think some of them are struggling with actually too much water. I might be being a little too careful with them. That could happen too. You know, you try to hit that like happy medium between, obviously they need water, but they can't just be drowning. I'm not going to water them today because I think I've been overwatering them. My tomatoes still look okay. My peppers look pretty good too. Some of them just look a tiny bit droopy, but they're not dry, and that tells me that I'm probably overwatering things. It's hard. The last couple years I've had a hard time with seedlings, and I never had that in the past. I always had really, really great success with seedlings, and then the last couple years I just feel like every time my seedlings aren't doing as well, and I don't even like want to show them to you right now because I'm like, they don't look great. Ugh. But I want to be transparent and be honest. I think part of the reason that my seedlings haven't been doing as well last few years is I've been a little busy with a different kind of seedling, and you know what? That is okay. All babies, whether it's baby plants or baby people, need a lot of time. They really need that attention and care. I am definitely not going to hold this, like, I'm not going to get upset about it if some of my tomatoes die or I need more tomatoes. I'm just going to go to the garden center. I'm just going to get starts. I always start way too many things anyway, so that's, you know, if something just dies and I don't get a crop of that this year, then I will just start next year, try again. I'm trying really hard to be patient with myself because it is disappointing. Like some of those seedlings in there, I'm like, I'll show you. You know what? I will show you in case anyone else is in my boat. And I think it just comes down to a matter of, I feel like I'm doing everything as fast as I possibly can. I'm, you know, in the middle of nap time and holding her and trying to do all this stuff, and it just takes its toll. So there are just seasons in life where things don't go quite perfectly, and that's okay. These are the ones that are hit the hardest down here, my petunias. This is what happens when you overwater your seedlings. They're just flagging. You can see they're just like wilting because they're too wet. So I'm just gonna hopefully let them dry out, and hopefully that'll help. And then these guys look okay, except for the millet here never quite, I don't know, it never quite took off. It might be one that just needs to be direct sown, and so it's just not like loving life, but the basil's doing okay. That looks totally fine. And then up here, these are the peppers. They look pretty good. A tiny bit wilty. I'll come out and check this afternoon and see if you know, if I need to water any of them, but I think it's just a matter of some of them got a little bit too much water. And here are the tomatoes, which are small. Honestly, they look okay, but they're just a little small, and yeah, just not so great. And then the eucalyptus is looking pretty good, except for one died. And then this basil I started next to it, I don't know what happened, something happened, and then these plants all got drowned. I just drowned all of those plants. And you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna get upset. I know I can do better. I know I can do better. I have some seedlings that are doing absolutely wonderfully. Over here I have, let me show you my successes, because that's important when we have failures, to focus on success. These are the cold weather lettuces and the little Swiss chard. This is all I started in the unheated greenhouse, and it did great. Green onions, they look fine. They're all doing well. So I'm gonna focus, and then I'm just not gonna worry about those other guys, and if we need to replace things, we will. So that's your little message. If your seedlings aren't looking fabulous, solidarity. If your seedlings are looking really great, then I'm really happy for you. One of these years, you know, but some years it just doesn't happen as well. And the last couple years they've been tricky. And I think I'm just not paying quite as much attention and quite as much time. But I hope I saved the plants that I put out here in this hanging basket. I think it's going to be really beautiful. So that morning glory is going to be like a really pretty blue morning flower, and then that's a beacon orange impatient, so that'll be like this gorgeous orange, and then we'll have kind of like the orangey sunset tones of the coleus, which should be beautiful. Should be all really nice and exciting. So I'll keep you posted throughout the season on how that container goes, and we can kind of watch it, and we'll get on a fertilizer schedule and just get it going. If we do get a night that's like dipping below 40, then I will move that container into the unheated greenhouse, because it's staying well above that in there at night. I think it's staying around 50 or 60 in the unheated greenhouse at night when I close it. So I will do that for this container, because coleus is one that is pretty frost tender. It doesn't like to get really cold, so we do need to be kind of careful with that one. So anyways, that is the story, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, I will talk to you again soon. Bye bye.